The sharp crack of his hand across my face cut through the crystal clinks and murmured conversations like a gunshot in the glittering Elmwood Philanthropy ballroom. Champagne flutes froze mid-toast under the massive chandeliers. And for one frozen second, the entire elite crowd of Illinois power players stared. Marcus Blackwell, CFO of Vanguard Dynamics, our town's corporate golden boy, had just slapped his stepdaughter in front of 200 witnesses, photographers, and local news cameras. "Take off that cheap red dress right now," he hissed, his voice low and venomous, the mask of polished executive cracking wide open. "You're humiliating this family." My cheek burned hot, the sting radiating through my jaw. But I didn't flinch. At 34, as senior compliance officer at Vanguard Dynamics, an aerospace components manufacturer that supplied everything from jet engine parts to defense contractors, I'd spent years documenting rules and flagging risks. Irony tasted bitter tonight. The man who shared my mother's bed had just broken every rule of basic human decency in public. I stood tall in the crimson silk gown that hugged my frame before cascading elegantly to the floor, its rich color impossible to ignore against the sea of safe navy and black tuxedos. The dress wasn't cheap. But Marcus didn't know that yet. I am Sophia Reed. For 7 years, I've watched Marcus rule our sprawling Elmwood estate like his personal boardroom. He married my mother Laura when she was still raw from my father's sudden heart attack, promising stability and the kind of quiet life that looked perfect from the outside. Instead, he dimmed her light year by year. Laura had been a vibrant graphic designer, her home studio bursting with color palettes and bold sketches. Now her canvases gathered dust, her wardrobe restricted to muted tones Marcus approved. "You represent this family," he'd say, adjusting my collar too tightly before every company function, his fingers lingering just long enough to make my skin crawl. "Your choices reflect on my position at Vanguard." I'd always pulled back. "I represent myself. And the law." That line never failed to make his jaw tighten. At home, Marcus controlled everything: the schedules, the guest lists, even the volume of conversations at dinner. Laura moved like a ghost in her own house, her spirit hollowed out to fit his beige and gray world. Publicly, he played the devoted church deacon, the philanthropist whose name topped every charity plaque in Elmwood. Privately, he patrolled hallways at night, reviewing my work emails, ensuring nothing threatened his image ahead of Vanguard's massive upcoming IPO. The IPO had everyone on edge. Stock options promised windfalls for employees. But Marcus grew more paranoid by the day. What he didn't realize was that my compliance role gave me full access to financial servers. During a routine audit 3 weeks earlier, I'd spotted anomalies: irregular transfers from the Employee Hardship Relief Fund routed through the Elmwood Hope Foundation, a charity Marcus chaired. At first glance, it looked like generous corporate giving. But the deeper I dug, vendor invoices for equipment never delivered. Payments to shell companies with addresses in the same industrial park owned by Marcus's cousin. The numbers screamed fraud. My close friend and HR lead, Jessica Ramirez, had warned me over coffee. "Sophia, he's wired into every politician and judge in this county. Walk away." But I couldn't. Maybe it was watching him slowly erase my mother's identity. Maybe it was the way his calculating gaze lingered on me when he thought I wasn't looking. Or maybe I was exhausted by powerful men who believed their titles made them untouchable. The ball had been Marcus's command performance. "Black tie mandatory," he'd announced without looking up from his tablet.
"Laura."
The navy gown. "Sophia." Something appropriate. Nothing flashy. Laura had murmured agreement, her hand trembling. I said nothing then. But upstairs in my room, I made my choice. Enough hiding. If Marcus could steal from employees meant to receive emergency aid while playing moral pillar, I'd force the spotlight on him.
Now.
In the ballroom, security guard Tyler positioned himself between us. "Sir."
"Step back. Now."
Marcus's face cycled through rage, disbelief, and dawning horror as he registered the cameras clicking furiously. Phones recording, whispers rippling outward like wildfire. "This is a family issue," he tried recovering. "Not anymore," Tyler replied firmly. Jessica appeared at my side with legal counsel Omar, followed by event staff. My mother hovered near the bar, nearly invisible in her prescribed navy, face ashen. A senior event coordinator led me to a quiet side office, pressing an ice pack to my throbbing cheek. That's when she handed me the envelope left at registration. Inside, a receipt from a high-end Chicago boutique for the crimson gown, shoes,
and clutch.
Paid 3 days ago via corporate card. Cardholder, Catherine Hale, chairwoman of Vanguard Dynamics Board. A handwritten note clipped on top. "A woman in leadership never apologizes for commanding attention. Wear it proudly. CH." The room tilted. Jessica gasped. Omar was already dialing. Through the office window, I watched Marcus isolated in the ballroom, board members giving him wide berth as urgent conversations formed clusters. Catherine hadn't just bought me a dress. She'd handed me the match to light his carefully constructed house of cards on fire. The question burning in my chest, how far was I willing to go? Staring at that receipt, the answer crystallized. All the way. The revelation hit Marcus's carefully curated world like a precision-guided missile. Within minutes, the ballroom power dynamic flipped. Where he once held court, he now stood isolated. His booming laugh replaced by defensive gestures as board members huddled away from him. Jessica returned from the floor. "Catherine wants to see you upstairs in the executive lounge." I found Catherine Hale exactly where power resides, standing by floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elmwood's twinkling skyline. Untouched champagne in hand. At 64, she radiated quiet authority. Silver hair in an elegant chignon. Presence more commanding than any corner office. "Sophia," she said, turning with sharp blue eyes that assessed my swollen cheek. "Sit. We have things to discuss." I took the chair, ice pack still pressed to my face. 3 weeks ago you flagged unusual hardship fund transactions, she began. That report went to Marcus as CFO. Then to me when he attempted to suppress it. I've been monitoring him, his charity board seats, political ties, creative bookkeeping. I needed concrete proof and an ally he would underestimate. You fit perfectly. The pieces locked into place. The dress wasn't mere generosity. Catherine had orchestrated a public test of Marcus's control, though the physical violence exceeded her expectations. "Violence was never part of the plan," she said quietly. "I'm sorry for that. Why not fire him outright?" I asked. "Because firing alone wouldn't suffice. Marcus has diverted over $2 million in employee relief funds through Elmwood Hope Foundation into shell companies feeding political slush funds and personal accounts. With the IPO weeks away, a messy scandal could tank stock value and cost loyal employees their futures. We need surgical removal." She leaned forward. "I need every document, every trail you've uncovered. An emergency board session convenes tomorrow night. His assault gives us clean grounds to investigate thoroughly without appearing vindictive." I thought of my mother, still ensnared. "He'll come after us. Not if we move swiftly. Protective order filing starts at dawn. He won't approach you or Vanguard offices during investigation. As for Laura, I've arranged discreet asset review. Your father left holdings Marcus has controlled. She'll have options." Catherine handed me a folder of preliminary forensic findings. Shell companies nested like Russian dolls. Equipment orders that never materialized. Political contributions disguised as vendor payments. My own discoveries were surface scratches compared to this depth. "The media will chase your story," The compliance officer who literally took a hit for integrity, she continued. It's compelling for our IPO narrative. Vanguard cleans house. Protects whistleblowers. Prioritizes transparency. You want me public? Consider it. But first, we remove him completely. Be ready to present tomorrow. A knock. Omar entered grimly. Marcus's lawyers are here demanding to speak with Sophia. Catherine shut it down coldly. She's represented. Coordinate through counsel. More reports poured in. Employees coming forward about pressure to donate to Marcus's foundation under implied job threats. Leaving the lounge. Receipts still in hand. I understood the crimson gown was declaration of war from the one person Marcus couldn't control. Tomorrow would test if it was enough. Sunday morning brought bruises and clarity. While Marcus scrambled damage control, I transformed our dining room into a command center, laptops, drives, endless coffee. My Aunt Valerie, retired forensic accountant from Chicago, arrived after a 4-hour drive, glasses perched as she dissected spreadsheets. This fool got sloppy, she muttered, highlighting duplicate invoices. Same purchase order number reused with varying amounts. Amateur. I'd called her at first light. Valerie had boycotted the wedding. Sensing Marcus from the start. Patterns emerged clearly. Quarterly spikes in phantom equipment buys from vendors tied to Marcus's relatives. Timed before earnings calls. Jessica called. Marcus tried breaching Vanguard servers that morning. Security denied access. But attempts were logged. Backups were already secured. A secured file arrived, Marcus's emails instructing assistants on coding fraudulent entries. Discussions with vendors about inflating invoices. Excess funneled to PR/Red, accounts aligning with political fundraisers. My mother appeared in the doorway. Clutching tea. Bathrobe loose. He's been calling nonstop. Threatening the house. Valerie moved to her sister. Laura. He assaulted your daughter publicly. He's robbing employees. What's he holding over you? The house, my mother whispered. Says it's in his name. He'll evict us. I pulled up documents. Father's life insurance originally funded the home. Marcus had refinanced, placing it in a trust with himself as trustee. But Laura remained beneficiary. Criminal fraud could remove him as trustee. For the first time in years, fire flickered in my mother's eyes. Show me everything. We spent hours building the case. Valerie crafted an airtight forensic timeline. I cross-referenced compliance violations with emails. My mother recalled specific conversations. Golf outings with local judges where Marcus bragged about owning Elmwood's future. A security guard's tip about Marcus demanding deletion of red entries triggered a preservation order on the Foundation servers. As evening fell, surveying boxes of evidence and a presentation ready to dismantle an empire, Valerie warned, men like him don't fall quietly. I touched my cheek. He already tried. Now it's our turn. My mother stood taller. I want to attend tomorrow's meeting. It's time I choose justice over silence. That quiet declaration felt like the first real victory in 7 years. Monday brought legal barricades and momentum. The protective order landed at 8 a.m., barring Marcus from Vanguard offices, our home, and
Contact with me.
by 9 a.m., Jessica, Omar, and I prepped for the evening board session. Marcus's team filed delay motions claiming baseless claims.
Denied.
Catherine arrived with top white-collar attorneys from Chicago's premier firm. SEC notification via whistleblower channels granted me federal protections. Retaliation now a federal crime. Media stirred. Photos of the slap circulated online. Reporters calling about the gala incident. Let it build, Catherine said coolly. Tomorrow they'll have the full story. Morning sessions with external counsel mapped every transaction. The PR/red coding system clearly referenced Republican political contributions funneled below reporting thresholds across PACs, illegal corporate campaign funding. DOJ implications loomed. Forensic teams converted evidence into courtroom-ready formats. Afternoon brought reinforcements. Additional employees detailed coercion tactics. IT uncovered Marcus's unusual server access requests. His longtime assistant arrived with boxes of originals Marcus believed destroyed, handwritten notes on fund movements, meeting calendars with non-existent vendors, voicemails demanding discreet handling of red stuff. At 4 p.m., Aunt Valerie brought my mother and asset recovery specialist Thomas Chen. Emergency motions froze Marcus-controlled assets, including the house trust. My mother, in a sharp business suit defying Marcus's palate, documented memories of threats and boasts. Spousal testimony strengthened the case. The day's capstone, preservation order, captured Marcus's repeated remote attempts to access Foundation servers. Each logged attempt evidenced consciousness of guilt. Mirrored data revealed hidden ledgers showing true money flows. The team sensed victory. As 6 p.m. neared, we finalized preparations. Evidence arranged. Security heightened. Catherine coached, "You're not just presenting facts. You're proving Vanguard employees safeguard its soul." That's our Wall Street story. Jessica squeezed my shoulder. "We've got this." Surveying the room, attorneys, accountants, my mother, Valerie, brave colleagues, I realized this transcended personal vendetta. It was for every employee whose hardship fund was raided, every vendor pressured, every person Marcus had silenced. Local news picked up the assault story. Catherine decided, after the meeting, we'd have far more to share. The sun dipped over Elmwood as we approached the boardroom. Somewhere, Marcus raged against unraveling strings. But the fire sparked by crimson silk was ready to consume his world. The Vanguard boardroom at 7 p.m. resembled a high-stakes tribunal. 12 directors ringed the mahogany table, faces lit by the projection screen. External auditors flanked one side, attorneys the other. Marcus sat isolated at the far end beside his counsel. Suit rumpled, eyes wild. Catherine opened crisply. "We address grave allegations of financial misconduct and assault by our CFO. Yes. Reed will present compliance evidence." I rose. Remote ready. My mother's observer presence anchoring me. First slide, gala security footage timestamped at the exact moment Marcus's palm connected with my face. This assault at the Elmwood Philanthropy Ball is the visible symptom of deeper corruption. Marcus's counsel objected. Catherine silenced him. Next, Catherine's receipt and note confirming the gown purchase. The cheap dress was funded by our board chair. His violent response to independence mirrors his reaction to oversight. The room tensed. Flowchart followed. Hardship funds diverted via Elmwood Hope Foundation to shells controlled by Marcus's relatives. Then kickbacks to campaigns. Over $2 million meant for employee emergencies rerouted over 18 months. I highlighted duplicates, inflated orders, coded entries. Marcus reddened. Emails appeared, explicit instructions to misallocate. Delete after reading, balance red entries pre-review. Gasps filled the room. Hidden ledgers from mirrored servers showed real flows matching FEC filings, wire fraud, money laundering, campaign violations. Attorneys confirmed DOJ pursuit. Marcus exploded. "You set me up." Entrapment. "Catherine, this is accountability." I pressed on through assistant documents. Access logs showing deletion attempts. Employee testimonies. Total misappropriation exceeded $3 million, excluding tax issues and IPO damage. Auditors noted required restatements jeopardizing timeline. Motion to terminate Marcus for cause passed unanimously. Security escorted him out. He hissed threats. Omar reminded of NDA clauses. Police entered with warrant for assault and fraud. Through glass. We witnessed handcuffing in the hallway. Photographers capturing the fall. Catherine appointed me interim compliance director to lead cleanup. But revelations continued. Private safe contents included bribe ledgers. Photos with officials labeled with amounts. FBI notified immediately. Assistant granted protection. In 30 intense minutes, Marcus's empire dismantled publicly. Additional attempts to transfer funds from missed accounts were blocked, violating the protective order and adding charges. A recorded threatening call sealed witness intimidation. Catherine's lobby statement emphasized integrity over speed. Red and blue lights flashed as more officers arrived. The gown had ignited the blaze. Now the system consumed the corruption. Midnight found me stepping from Vanguard's building into crisp October air. Crimson gown catching streetlights. Jessica and Valerie beside me. Media vans had thinned, leaving city hum. Never seen fraud this layered, Valerie said, hands steadying a cigarette. Jessica checked updates. FBI raids underway on foundation offices. My mother waited by the car, swapped into comfortable clothes reclaimed from hiding. Ready for home? I asked. Our home, she smiled. Driving through quiet Elmwood streets. The city felt reborn, same buildings. Transformed atmosphere. Marcus's influence network fractured. Council members recused. Judge retired. Commissioner on leave. Evelyn called. Board confirmed my role with raise and protections. Launching the Reed Initiative Fund for employee safeguards. Legacy your father would cherish. At the house. Windows opened to fresh air chasing years of tension. Wine poured as my mother painted bold reds and golds, first time in years. Freedom, she named it simply. Notifications flooded. Colleague support. Interview requests. Rival offers. I set them aside. In father's old chair, still in the gown that changed everything, I reflected. Marcus sat in county jail. Bail denied amid flight risk and new charges. Millions would return to employees. My mother painted freely. The dress had been armor, making silence impossible. Tomorrow brought depositions and reconstruction. Trials loomed, but tonight 3 women sat unafraid, mother painting, aunt sharing tales, me in red silk. The war ended. Boldness had triumphed. Marcus Blackwell would never control or harm again. The empire built on dirty money lay in ruins, sparked by one defiant choice in crimson.